All right. So, I'm recording this. Yesterday, I had a book signing. I believe my first book signing of 2026. Now, there was a time where I would do one or two a month. Okay, either local or I would go somewhere. Okay, I did a lot of like scares that care events in Virginia. Several of those, AuthorCon in Virginia, World Horror when those were around. We went to Portland. We went to Atlanta. We went a bunch of different places. Uh, every year, I used to you do the Beers and Fears. We would hit breweries in New Jersey. I would head back up to New Jersey with a bunch of buddies, and we would all sell books on a Friday and a Saturday at various breweries. I do a lot of local stuff here in Jacksonville, Florida. San Marco Books, the library system. I've done book signings there. I've done other various places. Down in Palm Coast at the library down there. So a lot of different things. So yesterday I did a book signing that was not far. I'm not going to say where I did it. Nothing against the place or anything. Armand's opinion, number one. Number two, I just want to get into those details. You can ask me privately. I'll tell you exactly what I was doing. Or you can figure it out quite easily. First off, about all this, I've been having really bad nightmares nearly every night for like several weeks. A couple times I've had nightmares about, and it's nothing major, not huge things, but I have nightmares about small things, and then they come true, which is creepy. And the night before, so Friday night, I slept like for like 2 hours total. Could not sleep. When I did sleep, I had a dream, a nightmare, that I get all the way to this book signing, and they say, "Yeah, you're not on the list, and there's no room for you, and basically go home." And I woke up and I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" So I got to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. You know, 15 years of full time author. I don't get up by an alarm clock. I get up when my body says, "Hey, get up." So 7 o'clock, but I'm up like 6:30. I'm wide awake. My wife gets up uh, as well, and I tell her my dream. She's like, "Well, that's not good." I also realized, hey, I have no change on me. I have a couple of $100 bills and some 20s on me, but that's not enough to make change. Um, so my setup at this book signing, because I'm probably not going to do any more book signings this year. I don't imagine, and I have a closet filled with a lot of print books. So look, you know what? I'm going to do a crate, a $5 clearance crate. Some of my older titles and a lot of the anthologies that I'm in that I have a ton of copies of. I think that'd be pretty good. Then I'm going to do all of my crime thriller books. Not all of them, but the first three books in every series. The sign is $10, three for 25. And I have a table thing. Why can't I think of a name? Table cover, tablecloth. I'm leaving that all in. Tablecloth. And it's a crime that, police tape, do not cross. Pretty cool one. That somebody at this event last year had, and I asked her where she got it. She told me Amazon. I got that. So 7:00, 7:30 in the morning, almost 8 o'clock, I get in the car. My wife, because my back has been killing me for 2 weeks. Also another reason why I haven't slept well. She loads the 2 crates of books and the wheelie thing, cart. I can't think today. And I'm like, well, I don't have any cash. So I drive to Dunkin' and I break a 20. I just buy a large hot coffee, Britney Spears, 5 cream, 5 sugar. Then I go next door to McDonald's and I buy a sausage McMuffin. and I break another 20. So at least then I got a handful of fives and singles on me. And my daughter and my mother are supposed to meet me at this. They're going to hang out with me because it's close to their home. And so I say, hey, you guys got any fives or singles on you? I need change. So my mother's like, I'll go to the bank and I'll get you $40 in fives on our way up, since this thing isn't start till 10 o'clock. Okay, thank you. It's over an hour drive for me. I've already had 2 stops. So I drive down. It's cloudy. It looks like it's going to rain. It hasn't rained in weeks here in Florida. I get down there. My stomach is roiling. So I park, literally run, and I'm like, this. Hopefully it's open already. There are people inside. It's like, 9:45. The lady who sets it up, she's standing there, big smile. Hey, I'm like, hey, I go to the bathroom. Be right back. Barely make it to the bathroom. Come out, grab my stuff, put the two crates in the cart, walk up to the front door, walk inside. She's like, what was your name again? And I'm like, Armand Rosamilia. She looks, she's like, I don't have you on my list. And at that point, I just wanted to scream. And I was trying not to be a jerk. And I said, I filled out the paperwork in January. It's now May. I filled it out literally within an hour. And the email said, you invite me to be a participant again. I've been a participant for the last 2 years. She's like, give me a second. And I'm like, oh my God. This is not happening. So she's like, oh, I got a table for you. So I go over, and it's a table between, we're just it's in a library. We're just in the library. I'm at the middle table between 2 other tables, and there's about that much room between the 2 tables, okay, between the 3 tables. And so there's, on either side is a woman, and they have some of their stuff on my table. So I'm already annoyed. I'm already like, here's my dream coming true. I don't want to be up this early. I don't like this. I left my coffee in the car. So I take that very heavy crime tape, do not cross thing. It's really thick and it's heavy. And I just drop it on the table. Boom. And they both look, oh, I'm sorry. I'm saying, hey, no problem at all. Take your time, as I'm unfolding it. So they move their stuff. I set up my thing. So now I'm trying to go around. Okay. There's no room on the right. I try to go on the left. There's a little bit more room. I'm a big guy. The problem is behind us are 3 other tables, and they have literally, the chairs are backed up to each other. So there's no room. Now the rest of the setup is giant wide aisles, but not for us. Nope. So I try to get around. Well, the lady to the left, she has children's books, and she has this huge setup. Okay. She's got balloons. She's got that trifold thing that you used to use when you had to make science projects with glitter on it and all this stuff. And she, like, her whole table is like 8 feet tall of just stuff. I don't even know where the book was on that table. So of course I'm trying to go, and I'm trying not to, but of course I bump, and like half of her stuff falls. I'm like, I'm really sorry. I'm trying to move. She's like, no problem, because she's annoyed. So I get behind the table. I set up my table. As I'm doing this woman comes up and says to the girl on the other side, who was selling like a romanticy book, and she had like a purple cloth out, and she had all this stuff. She's got one book out. Looks really nice. It's purple, and it's all this. And this other lady who walks up, and she says to that girl, I was supposed to be next to you. I got my head down, and I'm like, I didn't make this choice, and I'm not arguing with you. So the lady who's running it comes, and she's like, I was supposed to be here. You told me I was going to be here. And she was like, I had an open table, and I didn't know you were going to be there. And now it's like 5 to 10. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, lady, you're late. Setup is 9:30. I was like 10 minutes late because I had to make 2 stops. So she's like, well, I have a table for you in the back. And she's like, in the back. I mean, I want to be here next to my friend. And I just keep my head down because I'm thinking, there's no way I'm going in the back. There's a back room. They have like 10 tables. Nobody goes back there. The last couple of years, everybody back there said there's nobody comes all the way back there to buy books. I'm thinking, nope, ain't gonna happen. So then the lady goes back there. So now I'm thinking, great, I got both people on either side are gonna end up being jerks to me. Thankfully, they weren't. Thankfully, both people were very nice. Very nice. I set up my books. My mom shows up. My daughter shows up. My daughter's boyfriend shows up. And so that was good. So before they get there, it's like not even 10 o'clock yet. A woman walks up and says, she sees my Duncan book. Okay, so that was the only thing that I brought besides all the crime thriller stuff. And she's like, how much? It's only $10. Yeah, okay. Do you take a card? I said, I do. I have a Square reader, which I thought about, and I was like, you know what? This probably needs to be charged. And so I charged it on the way down. So it was charged because the last time I used it at an event, it wouldn't work. And I realized later, because it sat in a box for, however many months. And now it's sitting for almost a year. So I had it charged. But now I can't figure out on my phone, I can't figure out the app. Okay. I hit the app and it says, oh, you haven't used this in so long. You have to re-log in. So you got to send a code. Okay. Give me 1 second, man. I hit to send the code, but it's attached. The account is attached to my wife's, her account. It's her phone. All right. My wife is home right now doing some cleaning, hanging out, waiting. She's got her day going. Send a text. I say, hey, I need that code. Nothing. I said, 1 second. I'm good. Give me a second. Do you take Venmo? Do you take this? I said, I don't take any of that stuff. I don't know what any of that is. I'm old and I can do this. You can basically tap your card on this Stripe thing and I can do it. Otherwise, I have no idea what you're even talking about. The thing expires. I hit again for another one. Now I text my wife again on, I'm like texting her like 4 different places. I'm just messaging her all, please, I need this code. The lady says, I'll be back. And then she just walks away. So I call my wife and I'm like, hey, I need that code. And it ended up she was listening to an audiobook while she was cleaning. She didn't hear her phone. Not a big deal. But it just added to my frustration for the day. So I get the thing to work, but the lady gone. She never came back. Lost the sale. And I'm thinking, well, this might be my only sale. Spoiler alert, it's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., which is 6 hours is way too long. At 2 p.m., I finally got my first sale. I had 2 sales, one at 2 o'clock and one at like 2:15, and then that was it. Otherwise, got to hang out with my mom, got to hang out with my daughter, her boyfriend. So then they feed us. The last 2 years, they fed us pub subs, half a pub sub. If you don't know what a pub sub is, you're not from the South. It's down here, it's the best sub there is. Hands down, you can argue with me all you want. I don't care. You're wrong. And they didn't do that this year. This year, she was like, oh, we were going to do pizza, but then there's people who are gluten-free and people who don't like certain things, blah, blah, blah. And my thing is, well, then just order a bunch of pizzas and some salad and then let them eat salad. If they can't eat pizza, then I don't know what to tell you. Pizza's easy enough. No. They still get stuff from Publix, but they get 3 different kinds of salads and some fruits and vegetables, teriyaki chicken, and then like grilled chicken and a roll and a couple of bean things. I don't know. So I have 2 tickets to Paradise, 2 tickets to lunch. So I said to my mom, I said to my daughter, you guys are on your own. You guys sit here, me and my mother, we're going to go get something to eat. So I'm like, you know what? Hey, I get to feed my mom a lunch. I get to buy her a free lunch. So we go to the break room back there, and there's a lady at the door, and she is like, I can only let one of yous in. I said, why? There's only room for one more. I said, I could stand. It's a big room. Nope. I can only let one of you in. So my mother's like, you go and eat. I guess you could tell it's getting a little cranky. So I go in, and there's another author, children's book author. Turns out 90%, it's like 30 authors, and 27 of them are children's book authors. John's in front of me. And he goes to reach for a paper plate, and the woman standing behind the thing says, "Don't touch anything, John. I have to get it." And she takes and she goes, "What kind of salad do you want?" And he's like, "Caesar salad, but no croutons." So I say, "Yeah, give me all of John's croutons." John laughs. I chuckle. She looks at me like I just punched her in the face. Like I just told her what a piece of garbage she is or something. So then when she gives me my Caesar salad, which is like a little clump of it, no, there's no, she literally took it from the side where there was no croutons. I said, "Can I have some croutons, please?" So she picks up 3 croutons and she's annoyed. Then we move to the next table, which is the chicken. And I said, "Teriyaki chicken, please." And she gives me like a little, like literally like a clawful. Then I get to the end, and the woman there, John, says, "Hey, any chance I can get 2 rolls with butter?" And she says, "No, everyone gets one, no more than 1 roll." So I get a roll. Then I go over, and they have sweet tea and lemonade and water. So I take a cup, I pour it half with sweet tea and half with lemonade. Some might call that Arnold Palmer. That's up to you. The salad lady, looks at me like I've just spit in the tea. She was so angry that I'm thinking it's just drinks. So there's 2 spots open. John sits at one table, I sit at the other table. And then my mom is just standing outside, and I'm facing the door, and this lady's just shooting everybody daggers that's done eating. And it's not like there was 30 people waiting to eat. At that point, there's like my mom and one other person. So the guy sitting next to me, he's done eating. And he's just sitting there. And this woman's just staring. I said, "Hey," she's giving you the stink eye. And he's like, "Yeah, I know." He's like, "God forbid I just want to sit and relax for 5 minutes." I said, I don't know what to tell you. So he gets up. My mom's allowed to come in. She grabs her food. She says, "Food is good. It's Publix. Their teriyaki chicken is delicious. Not enough really for a big guy like me, whatever." And I said, "Oh, I better go." She's staring at me now. So I go out there. There's a couple of people that were talking to my daughter about my daughter selling, hyping me up books, and they're like excited and everything. Of course, they don't buy anything. And then at that 1:00, my mom's like, I got to go home. It's this chair's killing me." I'm like, "Yeah, no kidding. I've been sitting in this chair. Thanks for coming." And my mom's going through the crate of mostly anthology and stuff. She's like, "Oh, I don't have this. I don't like, just take whatever you want. I give you a copy of every book that I put out, but some of these are older, and I don't think I've ever given you copies." So she's going through and she grabs a copy of each. 7 books she pulls. And then I said, "All right." I said, "That'll be $35. And she's like, "Yeah, put it on my tab." And so they left. And then I basically, at that point, I'm just sitting there by myself. And I don't like sitting there. Some lady's taking a picture of my little free library. Take a book, lady. So I'm leaving that in. I don't like sitting there by myself. I find that annoying. So I started talking to the people next to me. It was cool. There was a guy behind me. I probably shouldn't even say his name, but he gave this elevator pitch, not even an elevator pitch, this 10-minute pitch about his book. "Have you ever read," and he names this classic book. "Well, this is the reimagining of it, blah, 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 blah." On and on. His only book, his first book, he does all the work, and he's done everything, and he used AI on the cover, but the book is mostly written by him. He did his wife was his editor. Somebody's like, "Oh, your wife's an editor?" No, she edited my book. And then we ran it through the Chat GPT, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just annoyed with this guy. I'm like, this guy's just a jerk. He's not talking to me, thank God. And then at the end of towards the end, like literally by 3:00, there's nobody in there. For the last hour, there's Nobody but us. I had a couple of people that came and hung out that I hadn't seen that when I was writing the Flagler Beach fiction series. One of the places, the comic book store, the owner of the comic book store, Glenn, he showed up with his wife. I haven't seen him in years. Another author, Becky, who I used to do a Friday Night Writes. I used to do a show with her on the Surf Radio live on Friday night. She showed up. I hadn't seen her in years, so I saw a couple people, which was cool. But then somebody was talking about, I don't know what they were talking about. So the authors were just kind of, because we're so close together. So we're talking, and somebody said something about Amazon printing, and this guy Caesar says something that was wrong, and of course I jumped in, and I'm like, well, no, that's not right. Amazon doesn't print your books themselves. There's not like you go to the Amazon warehouse and there's a printer set up and they're printing your books. There's printing shops. There's several of them all over the country that print your books. If you look in your book, you can see where it is. And he's like, no, I don't think that's right. And I said, well, I've been doing this for 40 years, and I think is right. So the lady opens, she goes, oh yeah, mine was printed in South Carolina. I'm like, exactly. So he can see he's a little, he's older than me, and he was a teacher in town. So he keeps, but he says, he's like, hi, I'm Caesar. So I don't shake his hand. I say, hail Caesar, because it amused me. And one of the ladies laughed, and he did not think that was funny. So then we get to 4:00. Okay, I sold 2 books. I made $20. One of them, the lady came over with a card, and I actually got it to work. Not a problem, although I kept saying, because I don't have an iPhone, I'm not fancy. And I kept saying, okay, you got to tap it on the back of the phone. And she kept reaching around, and I'm like, back, tap it here. She finally understood, and she tapped it there. And then somebody else came over. Another children's books. And she's like, oh my God, tell me about this Duncan book. So I tell her all about it. And she's like, oh, I want it. And then she takes it and she just walks to her table. And then she laughs. She goes to grab her card. And she was like, I didn't mean to steal the book. I'm like, I was watching you. And so she comes back, and I don't remember what she had, but she was like, oh, she couldn't find her. She didn't have her card. Her daughter went to get food or something. So I'm like, I take cash. She's like, oh, do you take Venmo? No. Do you take this? No. Do you take this? No, I don't even know what that is. I say, I take cash. She goes, oh, I got $10. So she goes and she gets the $10. So that was my $20 that I made for sitting there for 6 hours with all that. And that's when I swore I will never do a book signing again. Now, will I do a book signing again? No. I just said I'm not going to do it. I won't do it. So now I'm in a mood. I know my wife won't be home till like 6:00. She had something to do. No big deal. I'm like, I'm going to take my sweet time coming. I'm going to go up A1A. I'm like, I'm going to go, I'm going to drive through Flagler Beach. I'm going to go all the way up A1A. I'll look at all the people, listen to the water, look at all the people, girls in bikinis, people having fun. As soon as I get out to my car and put the thing, downpour. It hasn't rained in Florida in 8 years. Pouring rain, lightning, thunder, the whole 9. So I'm like, well, I'll go up Route 1 instead, because A1A is going to be a mess. And then nobody's going to be there anyway. No girls in bikinis. The waves all disappear. And I'm in a mood. I am at that point, the depression is kicking my butt. I feel like, imposter syndrome's kicking my butt. I feel like a fraud. I feel like I did all this for 2 lousy sales. And I know the positive there should be, hey, 2 people bought my book and maybe they'll buy more books and all that, blah, blah, blah. But at that moment, it's all negative. So I'm driving home. I go up through St. Augustine, Route 1. And as I'm going, I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? And now I'm hungry because I had that little bit of turkey. So I texted my wife and said, I got to eat something on the way home. She's like, yeah, no problem. Like, so don't wait for me if I don't know what we're planning for dinner, but it ain't going to happen. It's now like 5:00. And I stop at Village Inn. I don't know if you know what a Village Inn is. Orange sign. There's like one that I know. There used to be one in Jacksonville. I think there used to be a bunch of them, but they've all pretty much gone out. There's one in St. Augustine, though. And I stopped there because you know why? Because I love my wife and she loves their French silk pie. The greatest French silk pie I've ever eaten in my life. And anytime we're down there, if we remember, we stop there and we get a pie. So I walk in. At first, I thought it was closed. There's no cars in the parking lot. I'm like, holy crap. There's a manager, older woman, and a young girl who is obviously a waitress. And I walk up. And I say, I would like a French silk pie, please, which is like $19. And I'm like, you know what? I earned $20 today. I can do this. So I'm gonna get a pie for my wife. She's like, we just had some that were an hour ago. They were taken out. Perfect. Put in a bag. So now I'm wearing this shirt. Yeah, I'm still wearing the same shirt. That says Crime Fiction Addict. And the young girl says, oh, I love your shirt. We love reading me and whoever the other lady is. We love reading crime fiction. I said, oh, that's cool. I'm a crime fiction writer. What? I said, yeah, I write. So they're like naming all these authors, all these crime fiction authors. Okay. All the big authors, not me. And I'm like, yeah, I've read a lot of them. And I said, I've actually met several of those people at BoucherCon and at different things. I said, I'm just actually coming back from a book signing. And they were like, seriously? Like, so they get so excited and they're like, we can look you up. What's your name? We can look you up. So I always have in my wallet, I always have business cards. I hand them each a business card. And the one lady says, will you sign the back of my business card? Sure, why not? Sign it. The lady goes, I'll be right back. The young girl, she grabs another book by just another author. And she's like, I know this isn't your book, but will you sign the book? And I'm like, that's kind of weird. She's like, will you just sign like the back of the, I'm like, all right. It's like, whatever her name is, Hugh Rock, sign the thing, whatever. And they were very excited. The lady was like, oh my God, I can't believe you're I've worked here for 10 years. You're my first celebrity. I'm like, I don't know about celebrity. But so then the other girl's on her phone. She's like, what book should I buy? What book should I start with? And I said, Dirty Deeds. It's a 12-book series, and it leads into a lot of the other series. That's where everything is kind of set. She's like, I just bought a print copy. And the other lady's like, I'm gonna buy one too. She gets on her phone, looks me up. So it means I'm just standing. I'm like, I got nowhere to go. And, this is good for my ego. And I've just had a crappy signing. So this is actually good. This is a positive. I got two people who are actually excited to talk to me. And they both bought a book. And they're like, you better come back and sign these books. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll be back at some point because my wife wants a French silk pie again when I'm down here. I said, I will. No problem. Thank you very much. They're like, oh, my God, you made our day. And I said, I'm going to be honest. 100%. You two made my day. Like I even got a little teary-eyed. I'm like, you two made my day. I appreciate you. I really do. I hope you enjoy the books. I get in my car. I start driving away. I'm about 20 minutes down the road, and I realize, what a dummy. I had print copies in the car that I didn't sell. Obviously, the books. I should have went out and got them copies of the book and brought them in and get it. I'm annoyed. I was annoyed with myself for not doing that. Because I would have rather handed them free books and they would be interested, So then I stopped at Burger King. I get that there's a stretch on after north of St. Augustine all the way to Jacksonville, and there's like nothing on it. I was like, I'm just going to get Burger King. So I got Burger King. I came home. I sat on the couch. My wife came home. I said, can you go get me a water? She said, yeah, sure. She opens the fridge and she got very excited. She's like, what is this bag? I said, you know what, honey? I made $20. I spent $19 of it on you. And you know what? $19 for a French silk pie is worth it because she cut it up into pieces last night, six pieces. She's like, over the next 3 nights, we are going to eat this. And I'm like, perfect. And on the 4th night, maybe I'll go back to St. Augustine and get another French silk pie. Delicious. So that was my book signing day. Was it a disappointment? 100%. Have I had those kinds of days? All the time. Have I had days where I've sold tons of books, dozens of books? Did I have a day where I once sold over 100 and something books, almost 200 books? Yes, I've had those book signings. I just don't feel like mentally I can handle it anymore. I don't think physically I can handle it anymore. And I think the book signing thing has stopped. So now I got to figure out what I'm going to do with all these books. I have a closet filled with about 100 different titles. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with these books. So I don't know. Look for a video on that, I guess, at some point in the future. Who knows? This one was a little longer, but, you know, I like to talk. Check out all the rest of my writing videos. Check out my live YouTube live videos. I do book reviews. I do movie reviews, on and on and on and on. And hit that subscribe button. Let your friends and family, let your enemies know about this. And watch some more videos. And do me a favor. When an ad pops up, watch at least 30 seconds of it. That helps me get paid. That helps all YouTube people. Once you get over that 30-second mark, we're all getting paid. So just be nice. What else you got to do? 30 seconds ain't going to kill you.